Hey guys, it's Jenna. Welcome back to my channel. I'm coming at you today with a book haul. The last time I did a book haul for you guys was in February, I want to say, maybe even in January. So it's been a while. I want to show you everything that I've gotten within the past several months. It's actually not that much considering the large time frame. I've been doing really well about using my library and reading the books that I already own that are on my shelves behind me. So, and most of these I actually didn't spend that much money on either. They came in as donations from my library mostly, or I picked them up at a used bookstore. A couple of them I bought at full price, but I think I'm doing pretty well at the moment with not spending too much on brand new books. So, but anyway, let's just get into it. The first one is I Let You Go by Claire Mackintosh. Picked this up at a used bookstore. I honestly don't know too much other than this is an adult thriller / mystery about a woman grieving the loss of her child, and I think it involves, you know, the mystery surrounding the child's death. And oops, I almost dropped a book. And I just heard really amazing things. So I'm excited to get into this one. It kind of gives me fall vibes. I don't know if it's just the colors that are used in like the color scheme and the design of this book. There's even like some fall leaves on the ground at the bottom. But so I may save this one for fall time, and that's usually when I want to read thrillers and mysteries anyway. So we'll see when I can get to that one. The next one is another mystery, and it is The Monogram Murders by Sophie Hannah. Apparently this is an Agatha Christie book, but it wasn't written by Agatha Christie. I still don't know exactly how that all works, but this is a Poirot mystery, and this actually came as a recommendation for my friend Jessica. She really enjoys Agatha Christie, and she really liked this one and thought that I would too. So we'll see when I can get to that one. Maybe again around fall time. Another adult thriller, I think, is Behind Closed Doors by B.A. Paris. I've heard mixed things about this author, but this came in as a donation at work, and I paid like, 50 cents for it or $1. So I figured why not? It still has a Target sticker on it. It's not in amazing condition, but oh well. But this one is about like your seemingly perfect newlywed couple, but then behind closed doors, things are going on that may be not so perfect. So we'll see about that one. The next one is actually, it holds a special place in my heart now because I actually got this in a bookstore in Venice whenever I went on my trip to Italy in May. And it's a cute little book, and I picked it up because I not only wanted to read it, but I just had to buy a book in Venice. And I just had to like bring something home, like a book home that was from Venice, I don't know. But I picked out The Buried Giant by Kazuo Ishiguro. I have previously read Never Let Me Go by him, and I didn't enjoy it terribly much. It didn't sit with me right. It just wasn't my style of book. But this one I feel like is gonna be much more my speed. Apparently, it's a fantasy novel following this older married couple as they journey across this land in search of a buried giant, I think. Jasmine over at Novel Thoughts, I'm pretty sure Novel Thoughts is the name of her channel. She absolutely raved about this several months ago, so it's been on my list. Saw it in the bookstore, and I just had to have it. And I kind of don't even want to take the, I don't think I paid that much for this book. It was cheaper than this, but I don't even want to take this sticker off because it just reminds me of the fact that like I bought this in Venice, and I loved Venice so much. Check out my Instagram if you want pictures of my trip. So next up I have The Silent Songbird by Melanie Dickerson. I have yet to read anything by her, but apparently she does a lot of fairy tale retellings with Christian themes. She's a Christian author. So I'm excited to get into her. Like I said, I've never read anything by her. I really would like to read The Merchant's Daughter, which is her Beauty and the Beast retelling eventually. But until then, I have The Silent Songbird. I'm not even sure which fairy tale this is supposed to be a retelling of. I'm really not sure. Maybe it's not even, because I read the description and it's just about this girl living in a castle and there's political intrigue and I think a princess or something. It was kind of vague, but we'll see. I don't think, like I said, it's actually a fairy tale retelling, but it would be nice to get a taste of her writing before I get into the other retellings. Next up is the first book in a middle grade series, and that is The School for Good and Evil by Soman Chainani. And I've heard really fun things about this series. It's about these two, I don't know if they're friends, maybe friends, rivals, one of those. Sophie and Agatha are about to be sorted into the schools for good or evil, and you think they're gonna go like in this set direction, like everybody thinks that one's gonna go to the good school, one's gonna go to the evil school, but in reality it's switched, and there's just a whole bunch of drama behind that, and it's supposedly super fun, and I've been wanting to get into this series for a while, and I saw it at a used bookstore and I just picked it up. Next up was a copy of a book that was actually deleted from my library's system. So they were selling it in the book sale for $2, I think. It still has a really beautiful sticker on the spine. I'm gonna try to get that off. But that is The Woman in the Window by A.J. Finn. This is a big thriller that came out earlier this year. The premise reminds me a lot of The Girl on the Train, in that there's a woman who's struggling internally with a lot of stuff. She, lives a very routine life where she is mostly by herself, but she observes other people, and that's, her form of entertainment or something. So instead of a girl being on a train, it's a woman inside her house looking out her window at her neighbors or something, and she sees something she's not really supposed to see, and she kind of becomes obsessed with figuring out what it is exactly that she saw. I've heard just a couple people tell me their thoughts on this, or I've seen it in videos, and I want to say it's gotten mixed reviews, but I can't remember too much about people's thoughts on this, so if you've read this, let me know what you thought. Next up, I have one that I'm really excited to get to, and that is Dumplin' by Julie Murphy. This came in as a donation, and it's pretty beat up, but I don't really care. I'm just gonna read it anyway. And it's about a self-proclaimed fat girl, Willow Dean Dixon, dubbed Dumplin' by her former beauty queen mom. She enters in a beauty pageant, and it's about how she kind of struggles through it, but she also has just this confidence in who she is and what she looks like and her body type. And they're apparently making this into a movie with Jennifer Aniston relatively soon, like within the next year or two. So I would really like to read the book before the movie. Amy from Amy Reads really, really likes that book, and I've heard it's really funny, so it might be a good summertime read. Next up, I have Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. I got this at a used bookstore, and it's a first in a urban fantasy or fantasy mystery series involving witches and vampires, and I think werewolves too. But it's about this girl named Diana Bishop, who is a young scholar and a descendant of witches, and how she unearths an enchanted manuscript about sorcery or something. I've heard relatively good things. My husband's aunt, she really, really enjoyed this, and she recommended it to me, so I picked that up when I saw it. And the next few books that I have are very recent purchases of mine, and that is An Ember in the Ashes and A Torch Against the Night by Sabaa Tahir. These are the new covers in the series, which I very much enjoy. I am definitely excited to get into this series. I've heard absolutely amazing things about it. It's a YA fantasy series that's kind of got Roman-esque vibes to it as to how the empire is set up. And I think there's magic and intrigue and battles and everything that I like about YA fantasy, so I'm really excited to pick this up. This is also a very lovely, large, floppy paperback, and you know how much I enjoy that. Next up, I actually picked this up a while ago. This, again, came in as a donation at work, and I bought it. And that is The Angel's Game by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. This is the second book in his Shadow of the Wind, right? Yes, Shadow of the Wind series. And I have not read The Shadow of the Wind, so I'm not really going to read the description of this. I just know it's the second book, and I have a feeling that I'm really gonna like the first one, so I picked up the second one. Next up is a book that I actually read a while ago, and I had a copy of it, but I don't remember what happened to it. I think I gave it away at one point, but I was interested in rereading it, so I picked this up, and that is The Phantom of the Opera by Gaston Leroux. And I remember liking this when I was younger. I think I read this as a teenager after the movie came out with Emmy Rossum and Gerard Butler, which I just love. I love it so much. I actually watched it recently, which prompted me to pick this up when this came in as a donation at my library. And I remember liking it, as I said, but it didn't blow me away, but I was still really intrigued by the whole mystery of this story and whether or not, you know, there's some truth to it. I've done a lot of research on it, and people still don't really know if there was actually a real Phantom of the Opera in some way, shape, or form. So I might pick this up again. We will see. The next book that I have is, I actually forgot that I picked this up until I was assembling all the books that I've acquired recently, and that is The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint, I'm not gonna say the last one. I have never read this before. I would really like to read this though. I've heard good things about it, and there's also a movie on Netflix that I would like to watch after I finish this. It's like a magical little story about a little prince, maybe? I really have no idea. Next up is a play, actually, and it's one I've never read before, but I've always wanted to. It comes up a lot, it's referenced a lot in several of the books that I've read before, so I want to read the source material, and that is Our Town by Thornton Wilder. And it's supposedly just a really sweet play about this town and all the people who live in it and how they work together for the good of the town, and it's just supposedly really, really sweet. So I'm excited to get to that one eventually. Should be a quick read. Next up, I have a nonfiction book actually, and it is Longing for Paris, One Woman's Search for Joy, Beauty, and Adventure Right Where She Is by Sarah May. And the cover really intrigued me. I think it's really beautiful. I think it's about practicing contentment in your life when you're, you know, longing for somewhere like Paris where, you know, the grass is always greener, and, you know, it's just about searching for beauty right where you are and not trying to figure out how to get it somewhere else besides where you are in your life right now. So I don't know, it sounds like something that I would enjoy right now. The next up book that I have is The Seafront Tea Room by Vanessa Green, and I don't really know anything about this other than it's about a seafront tea room, and it sounds really, really cute. I also picked this up because I have a feeling that my mother-in-law would actually enjoy this. It just looks like a book that she would really enjoy. So when I'm done reading it, maybe I'll just pass it on to her. But it just looks really cute. There's a little blurb on the back. It says, "The first rule of afternoon tea, never rush, take time to savor it, just like friendship." How cute is that? Another cute option for summer reads. The next book that I have is Cormac McCarthy's The Road. This is a post-apocalyptic story about a father and his son traveling on this road to get somewhere safe, I believe. I've heard mixed reviews about this, not so much because of the fact that they didn't think it was good, they just didn't like, the way that this was written didn't sit with them right. I want to say that the writing style is unique, and some people either love it or hate it. I want to say that somebody said that there's no punctuation whatsoever. Yes, and they would be right. There's no punctuation in this book. So there's no like, you know, different tags for like dialogue or anything like that. So we'll see how well that sits with me. I've always been intrigued by it, so we will see. The next book that I have is Midnight Crossroad by Charlene Paris. This is the first book in her Midnight Texas series. I still have not finished her Sookie Stackhouse series, which I would really like to finish that first before I dive into any of her other series. But again, this came in as a donation, so I figured why not pick it up. Let's see, it's just about a town named Midnight, Texas. It has many boarded up windows and few full-time inhabitants, located at the crossing of Witchlight Road and the Davie Highway. It's a pretty standard dried up western town. There's a pawn shop, there's a diner, and there's a new resident who thinks he's found the perfect place to work in private and who has secrets of his own. Stop at the one traffic light in town and everything looks normal. Stay a while and learn the truth. So, small town with possible paranormal secrets with a mystery surrounding it. We will see. And then the very last book that I have to show you today is The Good People by Hannah Kent. And this beautiful edition came in as a donation at the library, so I had to pick this up. And I honestly could not tell you what this is about. I've just seen multiple people talk about this on BookTube, and it was just really pretty, and I really enjoyed Burial Rites by Hannah Kent. So maybe when I'm in the mood for Hannah Kent's writing again, I'll pick this one up. But those are all the books that I have to show you today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have read any of these and enjoyed them, please let me know your thoughts down below, and I will see you guys soon with another video. Bye.